YouTube, welcome. Against the Spread here, back with some above average mediocre content. Today we make our top picks for week 7 of the NFL. We have NATO 7 and myself, BX Star 10. TB4 is out today, but he did send us our picks for week 7, so we'll talk about them as we go along. Quickly to recap here last week, I went 4 for 4. It was a perfect week for me last week. TB4 went over. He went 0 for 4, and NATO 7 went 1 for 4. Do you have any
Yeah,
comments about last week?
yeah. You sounded surprised that you went for 4 for 4, and so am I, honestly. But I went 1 for 4. I'm in a slump right now. The Green Bay Packers really, really let me down last week. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead against Tampa Bay. They looked like they were going to be rolling, and then Aaron Rodgers stopped being Aaron Rodgers. He throws a pick six. The next drive, he throws another pick that basically sets him up for an easy touchdown. I don't know what was going on with Green Bay. They didn't do anything after that. The game was basically over. They gave up. Green Bay, they looked like the best team coming into that game, and after that, huge question mark by Green Bay. I don't know.
And Tampa Bay seemed to be clicking on all cylinders with their defense there. Their defense is a
Yeah,
defense that can actually win them a Super Bowl.
I think
And
that's. Yeah, I'll continue.
and now
Sorry.
they just picked up Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown. I know he's not playing this week, but even next week, even if he's playing next week,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a big addition to the offense. They have a lot of weapons on offense, and they have a solid defense. I can definitely see them making the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Well, Tampa Bay will be making the playoffs for sure. But if they're going to be a contender, Brown has to avoid being a clown, and that's very hard for him. So I don't know about that, but yeah, Tampa Bay looks great. Their defense looks freaking spectacular, and they have all the weapons in the world on offense. So Tampa Bay is definitely a contender. Um, so I lost the Green Bay game. The Dolphins over 47.5. They looked. I mean, obviously, I should have just taken the game -9.5 like you had on the Dolphins over the Jets.
Yep.
They easily dispatched the Jets, jumped out to a big lead, and then they kind of just put it in cruise control. They didn't do too much. Big story of that game, obviously, is Ryan Fitzpatrick is now benched in place of Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know how you say his name, but it's Tua time, and we'll see how that goes on going forward for the Dolphins. Big move, big move.
That is a big move, benching Ryan Fitzpatrick. From last week, also, we had the Bears +1.5. I think they won that game against Carolina pretty solidly. I mean, they were jumped out to a lead, and their defense just held them down. Like, I thought Carolina would maybe put up a few more points than they actually did, but the defense held them back.
The Bears defense is back to that 2018 form. Last year they kind of had a little bit of hiccup. They weren't as good as we thought they should have been, but they're right back there right now. The Bears defense is legit, and they actually had a couple really big plays kind of overturned. Eddie Jackson, forces the fumble, then the Bears give it right back. Then the very next drive, he gets the pick six, and they call the flag. I mean, but the Bears defense is legit. That should have been our lock pick. That's initially what we wanted as our lock pick was the Bears +1.5. They shouldn't have been the underdog in that game. But that should have been our lock pick. We went with Green Bay. It cost us. But Bears are looking good.
In Tennessee last week, I got lucky, though, because we went into overtime and they got the ball on the kickoff and they ended up scoring the touchdown. They just weren't going to be stopped. But I knew that Tennessee had like a better offense, better defense than Houston, better special teams. It's just so hard to stop Derrick
Oh,
Henry. But
man.
getting into week 7 of this week, NATO 7, you want to go over your picks first?
Yeah, sure. So I got KC -7.5 against Denver. Denver kind of shocked everybody last week by putting it to the Patriots, but Denver is a completely inferior team to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game by 7.5. They haven't been playing their best football lately. They did beat the Bills last week, but Kansas City, I think they're going to break out this week against Denver, against the division rival, and they're going to win this game by 2 touchdowns at the minimum. They're going to win this game by 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good game for the Chiefs. I also got the Packers against the Texans over 57.5. You think 57.5, a lot of points, but the Houston Texans can't stop anyone. They haven't stopped anyone all year. And the Packers, they just scored 10 points last week. They're going to bounce back. Aaron Rodgers, assuming Aaron Jones plays, that team's going to put up a lot of points. It's going to be a shootout there, over 57.5. And I got the Cowboys -1 this week. They're playing a very lowly team in the Washington football team. And, I just think the Cowboys overall are a better team. It doesn't matter that Dak Prescott's not playing. Andy Dalton, it was his first week back last week, playing in a long time. I think he's still a solid quarterback, and the Cowboys are just a much better team. They're only giving up a point. They should cover that easily, and that's my lock of the week.
It's basically a pick'em type of bet. But yeah, last week Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott put the ball on the ground a couple times. I think that was a big deal in that game.
Yeah, back to back, it completely changed the momentum of the game. Cowboys are better than that, and they'll prove it this week.
The thing is when you get one-dimensional, it's hard for a backup quarterback to actually be able to step up and show that they can manage a game. And Andy Dalton was a starter last year with the Bengals, so I mean,
Andy Dalton's been the starter his whole career. The Red Rifle, he might have misfired last week against the Cardinals, but I think he gets his aim back on target, and they shouldn't have any problem with Washington this week.
All right, well, I'll go into my picks here. I have the Bears +6. They're playing the Rams on Monday night. It's going to be a good game, but I think if the Bears defense shows up, the Rams haven't looked too good this whole year. I mean, they've been good, but they're not like one of those top-tier teams, and I think the Bears have been kind of streaky. I mean, they're 5-1 right now. I think they pull off another upset. I think they can actually pull this off, maybe 23-20 or something close to that. The next one I have Buffalo -10.5. I mean, they're just playing the Jets. Then Jets just don't look good. Joe Flacco isn't good. Their defense isn't good. I know they had that one pick against the Dolphins last week where he pinched it against his butt or something like that with the touchdown or with the interception. I mean, I also have Carolina +7. This is kind of a underdog story here with Carolina, but the Saints haven't really been proving that they're really a playoff contention team. Michael Thomas is out. Emmanuel Sanders is out. So I don't know where they're going to be throwing the ball down the field. But I know they have Kamara, so they'll probably be able to still get some points. But I'm still going to take Carolina with the points. I don't know if they lose by more than a touchdown.
All right, yeah. So you know what? I agree on all your picks, honestly. The Bears +6, I honestly have them straight up going up against the Rams. I feel like this game is going to be a low-scoring game, and that Bears defense is going to take over. Jared Goff has not been good against the Bears. Even the Super Bowl year where the Rams, went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots and their offense was clicking on all cylinders, they couldn't get anything going against the Bears. And I think it's going to be the same story here. I think the Bears offense, does what they do. They just get enough to win that game, and the Bears hold them. Buffalo -10.5. The Jets are garbage. Yep. And, they've lost every game this year by, I think, at least 9 points. And against a good Buffalo team who really needs a bounce back, confidence-building game, I think this is it for them. They're going to come back. Josh Allen's going to look really good. He's going to find Stephon Diggs a lot, and they're going to crush the Jets. Jets, they're going to lose another game by a lot. I don't know what's going on with them. They suck. Carolina +7. This is the game, I think, out of anyone's picks this week, I think this is the toughest game going up against the Saints. But the Saints, like you said, missing Michael Thomas again. I don't know what's going on with that guy. And Emmanuel Sanders, I guess, is out as well. That leaves Traquan Smith as the top wide receiver. He might be a good fantasy pickup, but it's really going to hurt the Saints not having that many options. And Carolina is sneaky good. Their offense, gets it done. Teddy Bridgewater is a capable quarterback, and he proved that last year playing on the Saints. And they got some good weapons there with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Mike Davis is a very good step in for Christian McCaffrey there. So I think they might be able to keep that within 7 points. So, yeah, I like your picks, honestly.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're solid too. And TB4 also has kind of a mixture of both of our picks. He is the lock pick with Buffalo -10.5 because I don't think he's feeling confident with the Jets, especially last week when they played Miami. And he had the Jets plus the 9.5 points.
He was one of the very few who had that pick.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I was looking it up. I think only 10% took that bet and took the Jets with the points. not a good bet. But like as you said, we've already covered TB4's picks. I mean, we both took all these picks, so I mean, we're in a tight grouping here with our picks. You know, we're thinking alike here.
Well, it looks like I might be still ahead after this week because of the fact that we have a lot of similar picks. I think I'm up. I think in the total stats, 4.5 points at least. Maybe it's 4.5, maybe it's 3.5. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm looking good so far. We're like about halfway there. Week 7, I mean, it's a little close to halfway. We're not quite halfway. But going into fantasy, who do you think that's going to have a big week this week?
Well, you know, I think anyone going up against the Jets is going to have a big week. So I like Josh Allen. I like Stephon Diggs. You know, Josh Allen struggled the last 2 weeks, and I think he's due for a bounce back. And I mean, not a better matchup than playing the Jets in there. And then also, I think I spoke about him a little bit, but Traquan Smith on the Saints, you know, Manuel Sanders and Mike Thomas out. Who else is going to catch the ball for them? I mean, Kamara can do it out of the backfield, but there's got to be a wide receiver that does something, and it's going to be Traquan Smith on the Saints.
And I'm thinking actually Detroit Lions might have a good week this week too. I think his name's DeAndre Swift, the running back, right? So from Detroit. I mean, they're going up against Atlanta, and Atlanta's defense is real suspect. I don't think that they stop him very much, and he's a good receiving back. He can put up, I don't know, in fantasy, probably close to 20 points this week. He had a great week last week, and now this week he has another favorable matchup.
Yeah, he's been sketchy this year, and he had a really good week last week. I mean, it's always easy to pick on Atlanta's defense because they're so beat up and not very good to begin with. But yeah, I think DeAndre Swift is a good option. You know, you might be able to find him still, you know, in smaller leagues. You might be able to still find him on the waiver wire if you need someone to go for the running back position. Is there anyone else you think if someone needs to pick someone up really quick off the waiver wire that you think could be solid?
I mean, if you picked up Antonio Brown, but this is for next week, it wouldn't be for this week.
Yeah, he's definitely a good find. I know most people jumped on that as soon as they heard rumors. You know, Seattle might be getting him. Obviously, Tampa Bay ended up with him. So I don't know how that's going to affect. It's going to be interesting how that affects all those players. There's just too many mouths to feed in Tampa Bay. It's going to be kind of a hit or miss week with them.
We might actually see Le'Veon Bell this week with Kansas City. I doubt he's going to get majority of the snaps, but he's going to get out there maybe 33% of the snaps, maybe a third of him. But we'll see how he works with the new team that he's on.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, well, that's week 7. We'll lock it in the books. Bears +6 ATS lock of the week. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like our videos, and we'll see you guys next week.